right, guys, welcome to another episode of Subtle Asian Voices. We have a very, special guest with us here today. His name is Tony Law, and he's a medical physicist. And I'm gonna let him, introduce himself real quick. And here you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Law. I'm a clinical medical physicist. I'm real good friends with Norman, and he invited me onto his show to just have a casual talk about life and stuff and my job. And if there's any young people that are interested, definitely hit me up as far as if you have interest in the field. It's a great field. And we're going to talk about it. So, yeah.
Yep. So where are you based off right now?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. My work is in the burbs. It's OTP, outside the perimeter, how they say over here. I live in the city though. Been here for about 7 years. It's a great place to live and work, and yeah.
Actually, like how do you enjoy that lifestyle? Like it's very south, right? It's pretty different from where we're from, like South Florida, right? It's pretty different.
Oh, like Atlanta. For my personality, I actually love it. I like it much more than where I grew up in South Florida with you. It's just I think I sweat too much, or like I get hot too easily. Yeah, for real though, and I just never enjoyed that sensation. So Atlanta is a great place as far as like being very temperate in moderation of the extremes, hot, cold, city, rural, urban. I like it a lot. There's a lot of culture here too. It's a pretty old city.
I definitely enjoy it a lot more. I definitely enjoy it way more than South Florida. It's just way more chill, But
yeah,
so
people are really nice here
let's
too.
get into how you. So let's get into how you started into your program. Like, so what made you decide this route of where your career is at right now? Like, how did you decide on about that?
Sure. So what most kids, hopefully, the way they would have found out about it would have been their first year in college, or even before college in high school. And then they would have had a lot, at least more knowledge in the beginning than I did. I found out at the end of college. I did a bachelor's of science in physics, and my buddy got into it, and he introduced me to the field. And so what you do is you either have a bachelor of science degree in physics or nuclear engineering. Those two dominate entry into graduate programs. And graduate programs are just like any graduate programs. You got masters, you got PhD, and it's very specialized. It's specifically in medical physics. And then afterwards, you don't have to, but now you're kind of required. You do a residency for 2 years. It's very similar to the career pathway that physicians do. Definitely not as intense though. And then after residency, you work somewhere. So I went to University of Florida, and I went to University of Kentucky for the graduate program. Did a residency here in Atlanta with a regional hospital, and and then they liked me afterwards, and I've been working and just enjoying the fruits of my medical physics education and labor. So yeah.
But how did you decide to go into this route? Because you could have done maybe a different route maybe for your degree. But what made you specifically get into this? Because this is a pretty specialized field, I feel like. Because I don't think many people knew what a medical physicist does, right? So
nobody does.
Going to how did you know to go into that field?
So for me,
how was that? Yeah. How was it an option for you?
Just getting in it's not that difficult. It's just like any graduate program, you just find the website for the graduate school, and then you know, fulfill the requirements, prerequisites for courses. It's just like applying for undergraduate again, papers and just the whole spiel. Anyone who's ever done graduate school, they know what I'm talking about. For me, just like on like a very personal to me note, I always wanted to do medicine, but to be honest, I was just not really committed to that amount of schooling so much. And also didn't want to. I was a physicist from the very beginning for 4 years. I just always a very curious and unsatisfied person. So physics just always kind of appealed to me because it was just so open ended. But then at the end of 4 years of college, I was a little freaked out because I didn't have any plans or anything. It's like the definition of a liberal arts education. You're free and floaty, and you got all these skills supposedly, but it's nothing real, you know.
Soft.
Like so soft, you know. It's physics, you know.
Theoretical stuff, you know, right?
Yeah. So physics. Any kid that gets a BS or a BA in physics, you know, it's really kind of like the world's an oyster. It's such a generic, general degree. You know, it just teaches you how to apply principles of nature to just problem solve whatever you're trying to get at. You know, if you go in business, you know, I'm sure you probably worked with a lot of back in the day finance dudes that had a degree in physics, or you could do that theoretical stuff, which I don't think I could ever have done. It's way too abstract and just really hard. But then, so I'm ranting. I apologize. But
go ahead.
It just my buddy just told me about it, and then
it just happened.
It just happened. Yeah, but I was late actually. So I actually have 2 master's degrees. I have one in management it's like a half MBA that I did for 1 year, just because like I missed the deadline to apply for graduate programs for medical physics. And then I guess chilled in college for another year, 5 years, and then afterwards went to grad school, and yeah, then that's pretty much it. Then afterwards, I got a call for interview at here in Atlanta, and it went pretty well, and they liked me, and then the nice thing what I did when I moved to Atlanta, actually I got a really, really special opportunity as a resident. So you know what you're doing, but you don't have any real experience. But I got to break ground and basically start up a program entirely from scratch. You know, literally I would sometimes be in vaults where concrete would be poured. You know, this construction. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's just kind of neat. Walking on top of the thing with the rebar and the foreman and guys drinking beer cans and chucking it in. No, that didn't happen. But yeah, that was cool. That's why I don't. I doubt they'll ever watch it, but if any of my coworkers watch, I mean, I love them so much. You know, they're like, they make the job worth it. That's why I came back. I was with them, then I left, and then now I'm back again, and it really is a joy to work with them. So
right, okay,
yeah.
So on a day-to-day basis, like how would you describe your day-to-day, work?
Sure. So for me, I'm the clinical medical physicist. We have this different there's a lot of hats we wear in medical physics. The one I do, like kind of my primary job, is the clinical role, which means I wake up at 6. I wake up at 5, get to work at 6:30. The first patient starts at 7. Therefore, I must be there before that patient to make sure that there's something called QA, quality assurance, basically quality control. Any large institution or company, people know what QC, quality control is. Just making sure that your product, doing tests, designing limits, tolerances, that kind of thing. Anywho, so every day we had to do daily QA, and I just gotta be there when it happens and just make sure the machines are running well. I'm going to finish this and then go back and do a brief description of what the heck my field is. That would actually make more sense. But anywho, I leave at 4:30 and work 10 hours a day. And yeah, so I feel like I'm talking a lot, but so what my field is, okay, before describing what I do, it's more important to go up a level. Um, it's called radiation therapy. So
Mhm.
it's a bit of a sad subject, but it's a necessary part of just healthcare. Um, when someone gets cancer, there are typically three ways to treat it. You got surgery, um, chemotherapy, and then radiation. So
Mhm.
that's my field. So we use that radiation. Um, you use radiation to diagnose, like X-rays, to see um, where the cancer is, or if you get in a car accident, just anything, any malady. But you
Mhm.
could also use radiation that's just much more energetic, more powerful, um, to kill cancer cells. Really, the radiation, it kills everything, but we use mechanical and imaging means to fine tune those X-rays, those beams of X-rays are shooting out to what we want, which is the bad cancer cells.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, my job as the and this is a wonderful what's the word for lots of people working together? Shoot, well, that's gonna bug me. But anyway,
A
it's
group, a
yeah,
group maybe,
it's
or like a
I use this all the time when I
yeah.
write emails, but don't worry about it. It's just a lot of different people that make up this team. We have the physicians, the medical doctors, you have nurses, you have the technologist. Technologist is the individual that's trained as the technical expertise to push the buttons, to aim, and to to treat a patient.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, they're like the front line. They're the foot soldiers. They're right there. They're every day seeing the patient every single day, for the whole day, hundreds of patients a year. Um, I'm like the Wizard of Oz that's behind the curtains. Sometimes I do get direct patient contact. That's one of my favorite times, actually.
Mhm.
But a lot of it, we're literally just not literally, but we're backstage. We're making sure that policies, procedures are designed, they're being maintained, they're being executed, and then yeah. I don't remember the original question, but
Are you basically like providing the calculations to see which the amount of radiation that should be the proper dosages, or is that what you are doing basically? Like,
pretty much that's one of the things. Uh, so um,
so what separates
the
you from the technician and you as the medical physicist?
great question. So um, from a knowledge of the operation of the machine, um, and the physics requirements to make sure that we meet regulations and appropriate like safety um, uh, endpoints. We're that guy. We're above them in the sense that we just make sure that they're um, doing high quality treatments. So
Mhm.
um, also there, if I think we should start first real quick if we were to think linearly as far as workflow from a patient standpoint.
Mhm.
Just like I like to sometimes explain to tell this to people. If you just think about an assembly line, like a factory where a product goes from one end to the other end, it's really the same type of patient too. If you imagine the patient is the service, the product you want to give, then the patient
Mhm.
comes in, hello doctor, I think I have cancer. Okay, so what they'll do, this is actually a referral probably beforehand, but anywho, now that we decided that we want to treat their cancer, this patient, this human, this person, your mom, your daughter, your whoever, um, then we need to we have to do, it's called a simulation. Basically, we need to do a CAT scan. We need to see inside their body. We need to see where the tumor is, where all the normal tissues, the organs in relation to that. Make a map. So we're making a
Mhm.
map of where the tumor is relative to all your important stuff. So you got this map. Then after is what you described, is now you have a map of where the tumor is in relation to your other parts of your body. Then now you have to use a computer system. You used to do it by hand, which is just was so old and archaic and a long time ago. But anyway, use a computer now that will then design how the radiation gets to, if I have a radiation right next to my heart right here, how the radiation, all those beams are going to deliver the radiation. That seems a little abstract because now I'm going to describe how the radiation gets there. So they have the computer designs how to get there. Those calculations you describe, the math, lots of math to decide how much radiation to pump into this spot right here. Then you have these instructions. They'll give these instructions to what you described, those technologists who are running the machines. And we'll talk about this machines in a second. But the machine then, what the machine is, it's called, this is the thing that I probably should have started with, that everyone gets excited. You can just Google it, Wikipedia. It's called a linear accelerator, a LINAC. So it's the radiation machine. Just imagine like a gigantic microwave, 1,000 times like more powerful, like way more actually. And it's a microwave that shoots X-rays. And what X-rays, why they're important in our field is that they're just a form of electromagnetic energy, just like what's going in your face now. There's video, like optical light. We can see that, but it's really the same. They're photons. And the X-rays that we shoot are just a much higher energy. And then it's like this rotating giant gun that shoots radiation into the patient as it spins around them. Yeah, and then that radiation is like quote unquote painted into the tumor, and then it just do you want to know how radiation works, or like from a radiobiological perspective, or we should not talk about that? Or
I mean that's probably good for another day, but
yeah,
but I think we got the gist of what do you do. And then like basically like after you're talking about all this cancer stuff, right? So like what will be your favorite part of your job in terms of like, is it, I'm assuming it's the client interaction, right? So like,
yeah, for sure.
what makes you like kind of like happy about your job? Like what's the point, or like, because you're around sad stuff all the time, but what allows you to feel grounded in not being swallowed by the sadness of your field?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay, definitely. I'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about like my favorite actual thing I like to do, like a specific thing. But yeah, in general, yeah. I mean, sometimes I get a little bit whenever I see a specific case. It's like, oh man, that really sucks. I feel bad for this person. I'm actually glad sometimes I think that too, just to make sure I'm not like a robot. But yeah, you just understand. I think a lot of times when you do stuff like that, you just have to like weirdly, like you gotta like kind of dehumanize it a little bit. I think naturally, just if you're an empathetic person, you look in someone's eyes, you see their facial reactions. It's hard to not be a little emotional, So maybe when you're looking at these numbers and just like, and the math and the coding and the what I do a lot is just like chart checks, just like imagine like any like doctor TV show when a doctor does rounds, walks around from patient bed, flips, looks at the, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense, cool. That's I do that too, but from like a technical standpoint, and no walking, just sitting on my computer desk. Yeah, so I don't, that's I do a lot of that. I do a ton of that. It's super important. But it's definitely not like, oh yeah. So anywho, so when you do it like that, it's actually not that bad. Just don't think about all the sadness, You need to think about the sadness sometimes though. Just remember why you're doing what you're doing. It's because you want to help people. That's what makes me really
continue on,
care.
right? Basically.
Yeah.
Because I feel
obligated.
I feel like a lot of like people who are in the medical field, they get numb from all the sadness, and then I feel like a lot of doctors don't have that kind of empathy with their patients as much. So it's very rare that I see a doctor that shows some kind of good emotions and trying to be empathetic towards the patient. And I feel like because of all that sadness that they see, it kind of gets them a little bit robotic, I guess maybe.
Yeah, well, I think I don't know. I don't have anything. I'm not an expert in this and like
Hmm.
human behavior and stuff, but I always kind of thought that for me, at least, to perform the best, generally, you should not have emotion to
Hmm.
in any activity to do well, to be uh, um, unaffected by the stuff that's going in, in here. You just give me cold, calculate, do it. You're done beforehand when you're in your quiet times or when you're like not on the job, when something's not like critically time crucial. Yeah, definitely have emotion. You need to have emotion. Emotion is what like your earlier question drives you. It's the long running motor, the marathon. We do this for our whole career. um yeah, you have to care. You got to care, so
Yeah, I think it's definitely the most important part of
yeah, it's all numbers anyway,
healthcare.
because then yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So like, have you ever tried, like explaining this to your parents and like what do they think about this type of your career?
There's in no way ever, maybe one day, hopefully, I'm trying to learn Cantonese that can explain them like a small amount of what I do. It's so technical. Um,
Uh-huh.
but they just know that uh, basically my elevator speech I get to all people is that I use X-rays to kill cancer. That's it.
Hmm.
Okay. So they know I do that, and they are quite happy.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're they're I made
Yeah,
them
you're
proud.
successful, right?
Yeah.
You're
So
successful, so that's pretty much what most Asian parents care about mostly, right? If you're successful or not, right?
yeah, it is. Yeah. So they just want you to do good. I think that's kind of natural though, for any society, but it definitely, um, um, yeah, they mostly just they're glad I have a quality of life, and security in the future. Blah blah blah. All the
Hmm. All the
that
typical
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like when you were younger, right? Like besides thinking about all this medical stuff, right, or science, was there any point in your time in your life where you're like, maybe I should try something else, or maybe something more scientific, more more artistic, maybe, or maybe something less mainstream, right? Did that
Only
ever
one
occur to
time.
you that? Hmm.
And that was you were there. I mean, drinking at your house, that place where you shared with, isn't it Alex? You remember that one house you had? Anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was that year because I was going to graduate with a super awesome BS in physics,
Hmm.
meaning no skills whatsoever. I had no idea what I was going to do, so I thought, and it was before I found out about medical physics. So I was really like, should I be a pilot? I always, this is a fun game I play with my coworkers too. What
Hmm.
if you didn't do your job, what would you do? And also, if you didn't do like a math and sciences job, what would you do? So I fancied either being a pilot, like going to, what's it, the Cordon Bleu or whatever, to like cook and stuff.
Cookie school. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I seriously thought about this. Basically those two. And I didn't think, and I didn't know about it then, but now I talk about to my coworkers, if we cured cancer tomorrow, so I didn't have a job, which would be the greatest thing ever. I wouldn't have a job, but still, that's not that selfish. But like, what do I do? I always thought being like a FBI agent would be kind of cool. That'd be
Mm.
kind of be. I do a lot of investigating, anyways, like doing charts sometimes when we get a patient from an
Hmm.
outside facility, like what happened here. Um, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool if I was. Maybe it might be a little too gory, but I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, or the
Yeah,
analyst.
like a criminal mind serial killer type stuff, maybe.
Yeah, mostly because like I have that kind of personality where I'm super obsessive. So actually, it would probably be a terrible career choice because I get so sucked into it, and I mean, yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's terrible. It'd probably be a terrible
No,
idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
people who are that kind of have that kind of thought process are the ones who usually are the most they catch the most bad guys, right? Because they are the ones who can
Yeah.
relate to the guys who have a a twisted
I'm
mind,
sure
right?
I'm sure they're grounded though, because I don't think you should ever like. I saw that movie, Soul, the Pixar
Mm-hmm.
movie. Yeah, it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. Yeah, I bring that up because of the lost souls. Just getting really obsessed and super tunnel vision into something. I
Mm-hmm.
bet those guys that are like catching the super criminals, if they want to have a long career, I bet they're grounded with like a family or something. Or
Mm-hmm.
like or just a loving, mostly probably just family. Just make sure that they see what regular healthy social conditions are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and then like, thinking about
You
all those
keep
things.
talking. I'm just gonna get a beer. Just keep talking. I can hear you.
Yeah, no worries. So like, basically, like when you're, thinking about all these things, and like, do you have any kind of those kind of struggles where you're like thinking, oh, this is something that's heavy on my mind, and if there's a situation at work that made you think that maybe this is too much, and you thought about, quitting or something, like, has there any kind of situation like that?
Uh, I have never. No, not that bad. I've been lucky where I've never had any kind of like toxic work environments
Mm-hmm.
or anything real bad. That sucks your soul.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely had hard times and friggin', sometimes get home at 9, 8 p.m., not 10 p.m. But that
Mm-hmm.
happens. That's just life. But no, I've
Yeah.
never ever even once thought about. I love my job, like my career. It really fits into what I love,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean the hardest thing is probably I wrote in that questionnaire thingy. Oh, what the heck did I say? So it was last year where actually I didn't work for 4 months. I was on severance. Before that, it was just um I'm a contractor, so I work for like clients being hospitals, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a change in my work location and duties, and a lot more driving. That was, I dealt with it, because you just got to deal with things sometimes. But yeah, that wasn't the
Right.
most fun. I didn't enjoy that, and they wanted me to move. I actually really really like Atlanta, so I don't really want to move,
Right.
So yeah,
So seeing your type of work, right, and all the time that you have to spend to make sure everything goes correctly. Like, what about your personal life? Like how does that affect your personal life? Like your dating wise, like are you single, or are you, so like how does that affect your personal life?
I think sometimes, yeah, it definitely is a bit unique, medical physicist, because sometimes we have to do work on the machines after everyone else has done the job. So if you have a
Mhm.
5 p.m. end of the day, that's when we get in, and sometimes you gotta be late. We have a pretty good group, so we're trying to make it a bit more routine for us lifers.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's sometimes bad. I have no real, and it's definitely affected my personal life. Where I think sometimes I just work too much. Um, but I think that's more just me, just
Mhm.
being kind of OCD. Um,
Mhm.
but sometimes, yes, it does suck. Like the one thing too is once a year we do this thing called an annual calibration. That takes up a ton of
Mhm.
time. You really got to be
Mhm.
there in the weekend, several weekends in a row, to do work. Um, yeah, uh, but yeah, I'm single. That's not the reason though.
Right.
Um,
In terms of like
yeah.
maybe like what are you looking for, like maybe for your future partners, right? Like, what do you look for? Because it seems like you're a very analytical person. So it's like, what kind of person are you looking for? Because I think a lot of people probably not up to par in terms of your analytical skills. So I feel like maybe sometimes there are things that you need that from a partner, that like, what do you want in your partner?
Uh, Definitely not someone as analytical as I am, because
Hmm.
that means nothing would ever happen. No, I'm a weird guy, so I don't know if I would definitely want anyone to be as OCD about stuff as I am. But no, I mean, honestly, just someone that would want to one day maybe we have kids together. That'd be great. I'd always love to, I have so many good examples in front of me of like healthy families and relationships. It's just something I just see the it may not be constant, but it's just always there. If you do like an integral of happiness, it's just there. It's just that kind of like that background noise of happiness, of like the little kids' laughter. I kind of want that, and sometimes I do need some space, but it just seems that'd be just nice from like a stupid selfish reason. But
I mean, it'll be a nice balance, right? It'll be a nice balance for your life, So
yeah.
So what do you want? Tell me what you want. Like, what kind of girl? Tell me.
I guess just
what kind of personality that you prefer, that you think will be a match to your skill set, I guess, your personality.
I never really dated a feisty girl. I think maybe I kind of have a thing for that, maybe a little bit, something where we can I don't know. I think
someone who takes charge, maybe
engaging, right? Yeah, maybe, yeah, sure. That'd be great. The
maybe she likes telling jokes, maybe, or maybe she likes outdoors, or maybe
that'd be awesome.
Environment.
This I used to think that I definitely required like some leanings on the political spectrum, and I get and even like you're right, where you're leaning on these personality questions. I guess that's what matters more, because as far as like I guess maybe values and stuff, you can adapt to that. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of talking top of my head. But I used to think that I couldn't date. I used to be Christian. I more agnostic. Really, I really am just more apathetic. I don't really care. But if a Christian girl really wanted me to go to church, I mean, I would just go, just make her happy, and I would do whatever to just make her happy, even if you have to give a little bit, get a little bit, give a little bit. That's all just life, negotiation, talking, just working together. I'm not that picky. I guess just like, honestly, I do really value good ethics. I'm very straight-laced, so I have a kind of a strict code of like, I've done bad things, and then I've felt so immediately guilty. It just kind of like slowly molded me throughout my years of just doing the right thing, that kind of thing. Like I voluntarily paid penalties on my taxes last year, because I over contributed to my IRAs. It's pretty garbage. It's like $330 I have to pay over. Yeah, but anywho, so so a good moral compass, don't gotta be Mahatma Gandhi, or Teresa, but Mother Teresa, but like just a good heart, someone that cares, is kind, wants kids,
and maybe even are able to like interact with friends, right, and family, make sure they're able to get along with them, right?
That's actually super duper important. My significant other needs to mesh with my family and friends, because they, that saying, that kind of silly saying, friends are the family you choose, so they're in my life for a reason, so, and that's a good thing about a partner too. If they can adapt to that means they're adaptable in many regards, and life is a windy, rocky road you're going on, and it's better if both parties, maybe sometimes one person is the the hard rock, the other person's the pliable one, and vice versa, and you guys like
Right.
support each other.
Yeah, you gotta find a balance
Yeah.
with that kind of relationship, right? Where since you're a certain way, you need someone who has maybe an opposite of how you are in order to
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
balance you out, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's all very hypothetical here, I guess. It'd be kind of
I
fun.
mean, it's all about
You ever do
hypothetical stuff.
you ever do those personality tests?
Yeah,
You
I
know
haven't.
that 16.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I think I was like the ENFJ. So that's like the kind of like
What's that
what's
cartoon
it
character
called?
that they made you? The what?
It was like the motivator one, like kind of like motivation, that kind of
Ah,
like
okay.
it's the same one that Obama had,
Oh, tight.
kind
Okay.
of very like able to like go with whatever the flow is and kind of like just be the motivator and like kind of like just be chill, I guess. I think it was
Yeah,
like the army guy looking guy. I'm not sure.
I gotta say, you're definitely one of my, if not the most open-minded of friends I have. So it's a good trait, and I'm sure that's helpful for you whenever you talk to people on this program.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
So
So
so being in Atlanta, it's a pretty like happening area, right? So where would you go to meet someone, or how have you been able to meet people?
they're uh oh, like non-dates, but just like to meet people, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, just
Like,
just
what are
I
your
guess
hobbies?
anywhere.
Your hobbies, maybe. Let's talk about that.
Oh,
Like how do you keep distracted?
I do jujitsu.
Mm-hmm.
This guy here, it's like a big pajama karate
The
suit,
gi.
a gi, which is
Mm-hmm.
short. It's short for kimono. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I do that. I like that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that all the time unless I'm injured. Actually, I've been the last 2 years that kind of sucked. But I also like skiing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you you and myself and several others we gonna be going soon. That's gonna be real
Right.
fun. Uh, those are the two big hobbies. Just like everyone else, I just like to just cook and hang out, and
Mm-hmm.
um, those aren't really hobbies, but those are the only two hobbies I really have. Oh, I started planting trees recently. That's kind of fun. I did it this morning actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that um it's just something nice about just like in your hands. You're getting pretty dirty. I hate getting dirty, but if you got a reasons to get dirty, that's all right. Then you love it. Um, yeah, that was my favorite tree planting. I had to go to a park. I was like pretty much going on a hike. I was like jumping over little streams and going up and down little slopes. That was fun. Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. So like I guess we can segue back into your career choice, right? And like so how kind of advice would you give to people who are in your same situation where they're kind of taking physics and trying to decide where to go? Like what would you give people who are in this situation advice? Like what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, like young people that are trying
Yeah, like
to
in
get into the
college,
field.
college. No, not trying to get into the field. Like they're in physics and they're
Oh,
trying to decide what to do with their physics degree. Like how should they, navigate and how they should, get a job, right?
sure. Yeah. Uh, um, not sure how valid this advice is because I'm not really a life coach, but uh,
You lived it. You're
yeah, I
there.
did. I guess for sure. Go so just do some basic search, Google searching for what's called the AAPM. That's the American Association for Physicists in Medicine. It's the grand poobah, the very old, large, just huge professional organization for our group. Become a member, definitely. Just pay it. It's gonna be free for kids anyways. Get in. Go to campep.org. That's the organization that accredits residencies and graduate programs, and get a list. Just for like any grad student, make a list. Oh, and just write as much as you can. I think writing is like a long lost art that just helps to reinforce and to clarify whatever things you got going in your head. Make a list of the schools you want to apply to. Make some folders. You got a Dropbox. Put all your folders in it. Get some good please be organized. And then just send your applications out. Before you do that, though, just try to talk to people. Find another student in a program, send them emails, talk to them, because they will probably give you much more relevant information for the current landscape. This is always changing as far as like requirements for like licensure and accreditation. For our field, there was a thing where, we are board certified, meaning the American Board of Medicine, the same board that certifies doctors, we're on that. That's like the most important test. You must get that, pass that test to then get your certification, and then that it bumps up your pay raise, but also gives you, some places require you to have that. And why am I bringing this up? I think you couldn't. Oh yeah, you can't take that test unless you go to a accredited program. So definitely. So this is just very. I apologize. It's very specific, esoteric stuff. But if there is a young physicist out there that cares, first this stuff is always changing. Email me. Call me, email me. Okay, I just posted wisetiger26@gmail.com. Just ask me questions about it, and then I'll Google for you. But then if you get someone like just barely older than you, that's like a first year in grad school, then they'll know what the current landscape is, or hopefully they should. They give you numbers too, salary, vacation, what the average day is like, how depressed you're going to be on a Saturday doing work,
Right.
stuff like that. Yeah, that's my advice, is just do stuff.
There, right?
Go to a coffee shop. Just go to a coffee shop, drink a ton of coffee, and look at the computer, and then just think about what you're gonna do. That's it. And then you're naturally make a game plan. Like anything, any project, just coffee, computer, go. So.
Yeah, I definitely see that you have to do a lot of research in order to get to your field.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm really glad that you were able to expose everyone to your field, and hopefully someone would find this and be motivated into get into your field. And anyways, like, I thank you for your time and all your advice, and hopefully maybe throughout this someone will see this and maybe hit you up for a date or something, right? This is also good exposure for all the ladies out there who want to know Tony Law here, and maybe go on a date. Whoever's in Atlanta, hit them up, and
I always buy the beer.
Definitely, maybe hang out a little bit. So anyways, I thank you, and we'll talk to everybody next time, and I'll see you guys around.
Take care. Yep.
Later.